She brought him to the 4th of July barbecue. I walked outside with 2 plates of burgers and saw them, Leah and Ray, laughing by the fire pit with my cousin Kyle like it was totally normal. Like she hadn't blindsided me with this crap for weeks now. She didn't even ask. Just showed up with her ex like it was some neighborhood block party. My name's Mike. I'm 38 and live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Leah and I had been together a year and a half, living together in my house for the past 6 months. And up until a couple months ago, I thought we were solid. That was before Ray came back to town. Started small. She mentioned he'd texted her, just to catch up. Next thing I knew, she was meeting him for drinks every Friday night. Said they were just friends and I shouldn't be threatened. But it didn't feel friendly when she started hiding her phone, or when I caught her giggling at texts while we were supposed to be watching a movie. Then came the barbecue, and that was it. I waited until the guests were gone, grabbed a beer, and told her we needed to talk. She stood in the kitchen, arms crossed like she was bracing for a fight. "What now?" she asked. "You brought your ex to my family's barbecue, without even telling me. He's my friend, Mike. Not everything is some betrayal." I kept my voice steady. "You've been texting him nonstop, going out every week, hiding your phone. And now this." She rolled her eyes and leaned on the counter like I was the problem. "Ray is part of my life. He's not going anywhere. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not mature enough for a relationship." I stared at her. "So that's where we are?" She didn't flinch. "Yeah. You can either accept that Ray and I are friends or you can leave. Those are your options." I took a sip of my beer, then set it down hard enough for the bottle to clink. "All right, I choose option 3. She laughed, too loud. "There is no option 3. I shrugged. "There is now." She walked past me like I just made a dumb joke and headed upstairs. I waited until I heard the bedroom door close. Then I grabbed my phone, opened my contacts, and started scrolling. Ray's business card was wedged between 2 takeout menus in the junk drawer. No idea how it got there. But the second I saw his name printed under some local marketing agency, I grabbed my phone and dialed. He picked up on the 3rd ring. "Hey, this is Ray." "Yeah, it's Mike." A pause. "Mike? Leah's boyfriend." Longer pause. "Oh, hey, I want to talk. Just us. Lunch. Tomorrow." He let out a slow exhale. "I don't know, man. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm looking for answers." He hesitated again. "All right, there's a diner off Mulberry, across from the gas station. I'll see you at noon." Next day I got there early. Wore a plain t-shirt and jeans, nothing that looked confrontational. I sat at a booth by the window with black coffee and zero appetite. Ray walked in 5 minutes late, shades still on like he was hiding. He slid into the booth across from me. "All right," he said, not even looking up at the waitress. "What do you want?" I leaned forward. "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. What's going on between you and Leah?" He blinked. "Nothing. We've been friendly, that's it." "You see her every Friday." "Yeah, well, she reaches out. We talk. That's all." "Not buying it," I said. "You don't casually end up at a guy's family barbecue without strings." He sighed. "Look, I didn't ask to go. She brought me, said it wasn't a big deal." "Is she trying to get back with you?" He shrugged. "Depends what day you ask." I stared at him. "Just say it." Ray finally dropped the act. He rubbed the back of his neck, then leaned in a little. "Look, man, I don't know what she's telling you, but this isn't new. Leah's always had backup guys. Always. Even when we were together." "What do you mean?" "She cheated on me," he said flat out, "with some guy named Jason. I found out 2 weeks after I moved in with her. She swore it was a mistake, but it never stopped. She kept him on the side the whole time." My stomach turned. Ray went on. "She lied about money, took out a loan in her name but made me co-sign the rent. Then when we broke up, she cleared out the joint savings and left me with the bills. She told me you were abusive," I said. He laughed once, bitter and dry. "Yeah, she said that about Jason too, after he dumped her. She plays victim like it's a damn sport." Then he pulled out his phone and scrolled for a second before turning the screen toward me. It was a string of texts from just a week ago. Leah, I miss how exciting life used to be. Leah, Mike's not a bad guy, he's just dull. Leah, ever think about what we could have been if we didn't screw it up? I sat back hard in the booth, like someone punched me in the chest. Ray set the phone down. I didn't respond, but I figured you should see it. You seem like a decent guy. I stared out the window for a second, watching cars roll through the intersection. This wasn't about Ray. Not really. She did the same thing to him she was doing to me. The Friday nights, the secrecy, the side comments about needing passion. She didn't fall into bad habits, this was the habit. And I'd been paying the rent, the groceries, the streaming bills, thinking we were building something. Ray slid his phone back into his pocket. Sorry, man. I know that's a lot. I nodded. It is. He stood up, tossed a couple bucks on the table. Good luck. You'll need it. I stayed seated, eyes still on the window, mind racing. I wasn't going home angry. I was going home curious. And I was about to start digging. I got home and didn't even take my shoes off. Leah had gone out for drinks with her little Friday crew, probably Ray included, and I had a few quiet hours to work with, not to mope, to investigate. First stop was my desk in the spare room. I'd always kept things organized, but she'd been using it lately. I opened my laptop and logged into my credit monitoring account. I hadn't checked it in months. Right there, flagged in red, a denied application for a personal loan. 5 figures. From 3 weeks ago. From a lender I'd never even heard of. My name, my address, my social. Denied for incomplete employment verification. I checked the timestamp. Submitted at 2 in the morning. I wasn't awake, but Leah had been up late that night. She said she was binge-watching some docuseries in the living room. I opened the drawer where I kept all my tax records. There was a thick file folder near the back that didn't look familiar, buried between W-2s and old bank statements. Inside was a half-completed life insurance change form. My name across the top. Leah listed as sole beneficiary. The rest was blank, like she hadn't finished it yet. My hands went cold. There was no reason for her to even have that form. I never asked for a change. We never talked about anything like that. And if I hadn't looked, I stood up and headed downstairs, logged into my Amazon account. My saved cards were still there. Clicked on orders. The last 3 months. Dozens of purchases I didn't recognize. Spa sets, silk robes, candles, essential oils, some kind of fancy countertop blender. All of them sent to a different address. I clicked on the tracking number. Delivered to C. Madison. That was her cousin Candace. I looked at the card used, mine. Saved from months ago, back when I let her use it for groceries a couple times. I pulled out my phone, took screenshots of everything. If I had to fight this later, I wanted receipts. Upstairs, her closet was the next stop. I didn't even bother being sneaky anymore. On the top shelf, behind a stack of old yoga mats, was a gray folder labeled Vision Board. I pulled it down and sat on the bed. Inside were magazine cutouts, swatches, and typed-up plans. The kind of thing people make when they're building a business or pitching a startup. There was a detailed budget sheet with the header, Studio Launch Q1 2026. She had itemized everything. Rent, flooring, mirrors, marketing, instructor salaries. The total? $138,600. Under that, in her handwriting, Mike's investment, $120,000. Personal savings/loans, $18,600. I sat there, staring at those numbers like they'd punch me in the face. She wasn't just dreaming. She was counting on my money, without telling me, without asking, without earning it. This whole thing, the relationship, the move-in, the smooth talk, it wasn't love. It was strategy. She thought I was some safe, boring guy who'd bankroll her next phase of life. But she screwed up. She got greedy, got sloppy. She didn't think I'd check. I closed the folder, went back downstairs, and poured a glass of water with shaking hands. I wasn't heartbroken. I wasn't confused. I was done playing nice. and I was about to make her pack. I stayed up packing her things until almost midnight. Every drawer, every shelf, bathroom stuff, closet, shoes, yoga gear, makeup, all of it. Her boxes lined the living room like a damn shipment center. Nothing got tossed. Nothing got broken. But it was clear. She was out. Around 1:30, headlights flashed through the blinds. I stayed on the couch, calm. The front door swung open, and there she was, phone pressed to her ear, laughing, little wobble in her walk. Then she saw the boxes. The laugh cut short. "Hang on," she said into the phone. "What the hell is this?" She stepped in, staring at the piles like she couldn't make sense of them. "Mike!" I stood up. "I had lunch with Ray." Her face twitched. "What?" "You heard me. Yesterday. We talked." She hung up the phone, suddenly real still. "Why would you?" "I wanted the truth," I said. "And I got it." She crossed her arms. "So what? You're kicking me out over some dumb jealousy crap?" "No. I'm kicking you out because you tried to open credit in my name. Because you used my Amazon account to buy luxury crap for your cousin. Because you filled out a life insurance form listing yourself as the only beneficiary. And because you made a full business plan that counted on 120 grand of my money without ever telling me." Her mouth dropped open. "You went through my stuff?" I didn't blink. "You made it real easy," she scoffed. "That's not what you think. I was planning ahead. For us. You always talk about investing. Without telling me?" I cut in. "And the loan? The purchases? The fake beneficiary change? That's not planning. That's stealing." She stepped closer, voice rising. "Ray's full of shit. You're gonna believe him? After what I told you he did." I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots, held them up to her face. She read them. I watched her jaw clench. "Mike's dull. Think about what we could have been." "That you?" "I was venting," she snapped. "I never meant anything by it. You were lining up your next fallback in case the yoga studio plan didn't work. Just like you did with Jason. Just like you did with Ray. Same game, new player. You are twisting everything." "No," I said. "I finally see everything." She pointed at the boxes. "You don't get to just throw me out like trash, Mike. We've been together 18 months, and you've been scamming me for at least 10 of them." She tried to push past me. I blocked her path. "You've got 48 hours, I said flatly. "You can come get your stuff, but you're not staying here tonight." She blinked. "You're not serious." "I'm dead serious." She stepped back, her voice cracking now. "I don't even have a place lined up. Not my problem." "Mike." I walked to the door and opened it. She didn't move. I didn't flinch. Finally, she grabbed her purse off the end table, turned back and hissed. "You think you're better than everyone, that you're some kind of saint, but you're just a boring, controlling asshole who'll die alone." I held the door open wider. "Then you should have left a long time ago." She stormed out without another word. I closed the door behind her and locked it. Then I sat back down on the couch, phone still in hand. She thought she was done playing games. She had no idea what game she just started. She was gone for maybe an hour. Then the doorbell rang. I was in the kitchen drinking water, still wired from the whole thing. I looked through the peephole and saw red and blue flashing faint on the street. 2 cops stood on my porch, one of them already shining a flashlight toward the windows. I opened the door. "Evening, officers." "You Mike?" the taller one asked. "Yeah. What's going on?" "We got a call from Aaliyah Morgan. Says you locked her out of her residence. Claims she's being evicted illegally." I sighed. "She told you that, huh?" "We need to hear both sides. Can we come in?" I stepped aside. They entered, scanning the place. The boxes, her stuff all neatly stacked by the front window. I walked over to the side table and grabbed a folder I'd already put together. Ownership papers, screenshots, and a printed copy of the credit inquiry. "She doesn't live here legally," I said. "I own the house outright. She's not on the deed, the lease, nothing. She moved in with me 6 months ago as a guest. I asked her to leave after I found out she tried to open credit in my name. The shorter officer looked up. You have proof of that? Right here. I handed him the document. That's my credit report, the flagged inquiry. And here's the draft she was filling out to change my life insurance to make herself the sole beneficiary. Both of them went quiet. The taller one flipped through it, then looked at me. Have you reported this to anyone? Not yet, but I'm about to. He nodded slowly, then turned as Leah came walking up the driveway, Uber still idling behind her. She froze when she saw them inside. What the hell, Mike? She shouted. You called the cops on me? I didn't. You did, remember? She stormed up to the porch. I live here. We're in a relationship. You're not on the lease. The shorter cop cut in. And according to this paperwork, you have no legal right to the residence. She looked between the two of them, suddenly less angry, more nervous. We've been together for almost 2 years. I thought we were building a life. I didn't think we needed contracts. The taller one folded his arms. Ma'am, attempting to open a credit account using someone else's information is a federal offense. We strongly advise you to collect your belongings and find another place for the night. Her voice cracked. I wasn't trying to steal anything. I thought we were life partners. I was planning for our future. That's not how the law sees it, the cop said flatly. She looked at me like I just stabbed her. You're seriously doing this? You did this to yourself, I said. You've got your boxes. Take what you need and go. The taller officer stepped toward her. If he reports this, we'll have to open a file. Our advice? Leave peacefully. Tonight. She turned back to the Uber, then whipped around. I'll ruin you, she hissed. You think this is over? It's not. I didn't answer, just stood there as she yanked open the back door and slammed it behind her. The cops gave me a nod and followed her out. I shut the door, flipped the lock, and walked away without looking back. By morning, my phone was blowing up, text after text. Notifications from Facebook, Instagram, even a couple emails. The first thing I saw was a post from Leah. Big block of text over a black background. I never thought the man I loved would betray me like this. After 2 years of building a life together, he kicked me out in the middle of the night, lied to the police, and called me a thief. This is what abuse looks like. Cold, calculated, and cruel. Comments rolled in under it. People I didn't even know calling me trash. Her friends writing novels about gaslighting and emotional warfare. One girl tagged my job. And then came Leah's sister. This man's a monster. You want receipts? I'll post them. Stay tuned. I didn't respond at first. I just watched it spiral. Let them talk. Then I logged in. I posted 3 screenshots. The failed credit attempt with the date, the Amazon purchases with her cousin's name, and the handwritten note about my $120,000 investment from her vision folder. I didn't add a caption. Just let the pictures speak. 2 hours later, Leah's sister's post disappeared. Her friends stopped commenting. Couple even liked my post. Leah, she doubled down. Started sharing memes about narcissists and survivors. Added a crying selfie to her story with a timestamp from the night before, like she was sleeping in her car or something. She wasn't. She was at her parents' place in West Mountain. But facts never mattered to her, only the performance. By lunch, it got worse. I was at work, catching up on emails, when Shelley from reception called my desk. Mike, you've got a situation downstairs. I walked to the front lobby, and there she was, Leah, in full makeup and a tight dress like she was hitting the club. And right behind her, Ray. He looked like a kid being dragged to the principal's office. Unbelievable, I muttered. Leah saw me and started in. Wow, so this is what it takes to get you to talk? She said loud enough for everyone at reception to hear. Ghosting your girlfriend and smearing her online? You proud of that? I kept my distance. You need to leave. I'm not going anywhere until you tell everyone here the truth. That you lied to the cops. That you faked all those screenshots. That. Ray finally stepped forward. Leah, stop. She spun on him. What? I told him the truth, Ray said, barely above a whisper. Everything. You cheated. You lied. You used me. And now you're using him. Her jaw dropped. Are you serious right now? You dragged me here to prove something, not to fix anything, he said. You haven't changed. Security showed up, two guys I knew by name. One of them stepped between us. Is there a problem here? Yes, I said. She's trespassing and harassing me at work. Leah exploded. Oh, so now I'm dangerous? You're pathetic. You can't handle a real woman, so you hide behind security like a coward. I turned to the guard. I want it on record. If she shows up again, I'll file a restraining order. That stopped her cold. You ruined me, Mike, she hissed. You think you've won? This isn't over. She yanked her purse off the floor and stormed toward the exit. Ray didn't follow, just looked at me with something close to regret before walking out on his own. I exhaled and rubbed my temple. This wasn't just drama anymore. This was war. Friday morning, I was finishing coffee on the back porch when I heard a car door slam out front. Didn't even have to look. I knew. By the time I opened the door, Leah's parents were already halfway up the walk. Her dad leading the charge in a windbreaker, her mom holding a tissue like it was glued to her hand. Mike, her dad said flatly, we need to talk. I stepped aside. Then talk. They came in slow, her mom scanning the room like she expected broken dishes and screaming ghosts. Her dad went straight to the point. You need to stop dragging this out. This doesn't have to turn into a court case. I leaned on the doorframe. She made it one. Her mom's voice cracked. She's devastated. She says you won't speak to her, won't let her in the house. She doesn't live here, I said. She was never on the lease, never on the deed. She moved in, used my money, and tried to steal more. That's not fair, her dad snapped. She was planning a future with you. I pulled out the manila envelope I'd left on the kitchen counter. Opened it. This is the denied credit inquiry with my info. Here's the life insurance beneficiary form she half filled out, naming herself. Here's every Amazon purchase sent to her cousin's address with my saved card. And here, I held out the typed sheet, is her yoga studio budget. She penciled in 120 grand of my money without ever asking. Her mom sank onto the couch. She told us you gave her permission. She told you a lot of things. She told me Ray abused her. He didn't. She told me she loved me. She didn't. Her dad didn't sit. He stayed stiff like if he moved too much he'd snap. She's not well, he said. She gets fixated. When things don't go her way, she spirals. She's 36 years old, I said. And this isn't her first time pulling this. Ask Ray. Ask Jason. It's a pattern, not a spiral. Her mom wiped her nose. She said you were cold, that you pushed her out like she didn't matter. She made herself a tenant in a house she didn't own and tried to rob the landlord on the way out. What would you have done? Silence. Then her dad asked, quiet now, what will it take to make this go away? Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. The locksmith was right on time. I opened the door and waved him in. Front, back, and garage, I told him. Change them all. Leah's dad watched as the guy pulled out his tools and got to work. No one said anything for a minute. Then I turned back to them. What I want is simple. She never contacts me again. No calls. No drive-bys. No showing up at my job. She's out of my life. Permanently. Her mom whispered, we'll talk to her. No. You'll tell her. Her dad finally nodded once, stiff and slow. Understood. I walked them to the door and opened it. The locks clicked behind them before they even reached the sidewalk. The locksmith had barely pulled out of the driveway when she showed up. I was still cleaning up the coffee table, tossing out her leftover junk mail, when her SUV skidded to a stop out front. She ran up to the porch and grabbed the door handle. Locked. Then came the pounding. Mike, open the damn door. I tapped the app on my phone and turned on the doorbell camera. Her face popped up on screen, red, puffy, pissed. You changed the locks? She screamed. Are you serious right now? I hit the mic. Your stuff's in the garage. Boxes are labeled. Codes still the same, 2784. Her head whipped around like she expected me to pop out from the bushes. "You're not even gonna talk to me face to face?" "Nope. I'm not a stranger. This is my home too." "It's not. Not anymore." She slammed both palms against the door. "Let me inside, Mike. You don't get to lock me out like some. Anything not in those boxes is abandoned property," I said calmly. "You've got 2 hours before I change that code too." She stood there breathing heavy, then switched gears. Voice cracked. Tears. Crocodile at first, then real. "Mike, please," she begged. "Can we just talk? Just 5 minutes? I don't have anywhere to go. You had months to figure that out. I'm done." She slid down to sit on the porch, crying full volume. For a second I felt it, that twinge. The old sympathy. The guilt she always counted on. Then I remembered the credit form. The $120,000 note. The way she looked me in the eye and lied. I silenced the feed and went back to the couch. 15 minutes later, she was still out there, yelling now. "He locked me out. This guy I trusted. This coward. He threw me out like garbage." I peeked through the front blinds. She was waving her arms, turning to the neighbor across the street. They were unloading groceries. Looked at her. Looked at me. Then shut their front door. 30 minutes after that, she started pacing the yard barefoot, muttering to herself and kicking at the bushes like a tantrum in slow motion. I didn't move, just kept the feed running. Let her burn herself out. Around hour 2, her parents showed up again. Her mom walked up slow, arms out like she was approaching a scared animal. Her dad kept his distance. "Leah, honey, come on. Let's just go." "I'm not leaving my stuff. It's in the garage," her dad said. "I don't want it in the garage. I want to come inside and talk to him." "You've said enough," he snapped. "Get your boxes." She turned to yell something at the door again, but her mom pulled her back gently, hand on her arm. They stood there for a long time. Eventually, she stomped to the side of the house, punched in the garage code, and started dragging boxes to her trunk. Didn't even look at the camera. She left without another word. Her mom followed. Her dad stayed behind, just long enough to glance up at the camera and nod once before getting in the car. By sunset, the house was quiet again. I stood by the window for a minute, just listening to the stillness. Finally, that's what I thought. Anyway, Monday morning started normal, coffee, inbox, couple work calls. Then my phone buzzed with a fraud alert from the bank. Wire transfer of $5,000 blocked by two-factor authentication. Please review. I stared at it for a second. My heart didn't even race. It just dropped, like my stomach fell through the floor. I logged in. Someone had tried to send $5,000 from my checking account to a PayPal-linked bank in New Jersey. Blocked, thanks to the 2FA I set up months ago. I clicked the Details tab. IP address. It was familiar. Too familiar. I pulled out my laptop, dug up our old Wi-Fi logins and IP info. Matched it. Dead on. Leah's laptop. She'd logged into my bank months ago to pay a water bill when I was at work. I'd never thought twice about it. Didn't realize the browser saved the login. Now here she was, weeks after getting kicked out, still trying to drain me. I grabbed the manila envelope I'd stacked everything into: credit denial, screenshots, vision board budget, Amazon theft. Now I added the fraud alert, and I drove straight to the Scranton Police Department. They didn't brush me off. Not this time. A detective took me into a back room, asked me questions, made copies of everything. I handed over printed records and email confirmations. She typed the whole time. When I told her the IP matched Leah's last known device and that she'd had previous access, the tone shifted. "We'll get a warrant for the device," the detective said. "But this meets the threshold for attempted wire fraud and identity theft. She's not just facing a slap on the wrist." Tuesday afternoon, I got the call. They picked her up at work, some yoga retail shop over in Wilkes-Barre. Manager saw it happen, called me after. "She went white," he said. Didn't even argue. Around 6, my phone rang again. Unknown number. Voicemail first. Then another call. I answered. "Mike, it's me." Jailhouse echo in the background. She sounded small, almost unrecognizable. Please, please don't do this. It was a mistake. I wasn't gonna take the money. I was panicking. I hit record on my second phone and set it next to the first. I didn't mean to send it, okay? I just wanted to see if I still could. I didn't think it would go through. I didn't say a word. Just let her keep digging. I wasn't trying to hurt you, I swear. Can we just make this go away? You don't have to press charges. Please, please, Mike. I hung up, saved the recording, backed it up twice. The next morning, her dad called me. Different tone this time, no windbreaker bravado. Just quiet, tense words. We've hired a lawyer. Look, she's not thinking clearly. If you're willing to drop the charges, we'll cover whatever you lost. Full restitution. I didn't even blink. She wasn't confused. She was calculating. Silence. She knew what she was doing. She thought I wouldn't catch it. Thought I'd fold like everyone else. He let out a sigh. Then I guess we'll see you in court. I'll be ready. I hung up and stared at the phone for a long minute. She tried to ruin me. Now she'd have to answer for it. She walked into the courtroom like it was a fashion show. Tight black dress, heels way too high, makeup full glam like she was trying to impress a jury that didn't exist. She didn't even look at me, just scanned the room like we were all beneath her. The prosecutor wasted no time. Outlined every piece, the denied credit app, the wire transfer attempt, the fake beneficiary form, the Amazon theft. Called it a clear pattern of calculated financial fraud. Ray took the stand first. Calm, steady. Walked them through her history, how she played him, lied, cheated, used him as a backup. He didn't embellish. Didn't need to. I went next. Gave them the facts. Showed the texts, the purchase records, the 2FA block. The fraud investigator followed up, confirming the IP match and device access. Leah's lawyer looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. Then she got up and said 5 words that almost made me laugh out loud. We were common law married. The judge blinked, leaned forward and said, "Ma'am, Pennsylvania doesn't recognize that. Hasn't in years." Leah shrugged, still smirking like it was all some joke. It wasn't. After a break and some closed-door talks, she took a plea. 12 months probation. 200 hours community service. Full restitution of every dollar. Plus a no-contact order. Outside, I heard her lawyer tell her quietly, "That was the best deal you're gonna get." Her job didn't survive the week. The shop let her go the day her conviction hit the system. 2 months later, she was still at her parents' place. Working weekends at a strip mall boutique. Telling anyone who'd listen I ruined her life. I didn't care. Ray and I kept in touch. Grabbed beers twice since the hearing. He told me Leah had tried texting Jason again. Blocked instantly. No surprise. She burned every bridge she ever walked on. I think about it sometimes, how far it all went. How deep she sank into the lies. But I don't regret how I handled it. Not for a second. She gave me 2 choices. Accept it or leave. I chose option 3. And I'd choose it again every damn time. Sometimes protecting yourself isn't just a choice. It's the only move left.